Hello everyone, myself Sneha Shah from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I will explain you about different structures of discrete time system from the subject of digital signal processing. The first structure is, in the last session we have discussed about the direct form structure. In this we have already explained that direct form 1 and direct form 2 structure, and we have derived that the direct form 2 structure has an advantage of number of memory locations are reduced. Now we will use this direct form 2 structure to designing the cascade form structure, and the next form structure is parallel form structure. So to design these two types of structure we will use the direct form 2 structure. So starting from this, if we want to design cascade form structure, for that we will define this by using one example. Like suppose if you had given one transfer function h of z equals to 1 minus z inverse upon 1 minus 0.2 z inverse minus 0.15 z raised to minus 2. Suppose this h of z is given to you and you have to find out cascade form structure. The cascade form structure will be representing as, suppose if I am drawing that x of n is input, it is given to any system, it will give you the output as y of n, right? Now this transfer function will representing as h, it is representing in terms of h of z. This will divide into two parts or more than two parts if we will representing this in terms of cascade form. So if we will representing it in terms of cascade form, it will representing it as h1 of z and h2 of z. So if we will draw that this h of z will gets divided into two parts, like h1 of z, output of it will given to the h2 of z. So it will gives you the output as y of n, or we can say that in terms of z it will be representing as x, y of z, and the input is x of z. So we can represent this h of z, it's a cascade form of this two. It means h of z will representing it as h1 of z into h2 of z. So this h of z will representing in this form h1 of z into h2 of z. So for this, the first rule is that this z inverse, the denominator part, we will divide it into two parts. If we will find out the denominator's two roots, then it will be found by using two poles p1 and p2 by using the equation minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Now what is value of b? B equals to minus 0.2. So minus p equals to minus minus plus 0.2 plus or minus under root 0.2 square minus 4 a equals to 1 and c equals to minus 0.50. Divide by 2 into a equals to 1, so 2 into 1. If we will simplify this, the answer will be 0.5 and the second term is minus 0.3. So if we will representing this denominator part, it will be representing like numerator part is as it is, the denominator part will gets divided into 1 minus pole 1, means 1 minus 0.5 z inverse, and the second part is 1 plus point, because this one is minus 0.3, so over here we will write plus 0.3 z inverse. So this is the final value of h of z. Now this h of z will give divided into two parts, h1 of z and h2 of z. Suppose if we will taking this term as h1 of z, so this second term will becomes h2 of z. So we will representing it in terms of h1 of z and h2 of z like this. So for this, first of all we will writing that h1, let we are taking h1 of z equals to 1 minus z inverse upon 1 minus 0.5 z inverse, and h2 of z equals to 1 upon the second term, 1 plus 0.3 z inverse. Now using direct form 2 structure, if we will representing this h1 of z will representing like this. Direct form 2 structure is plus z inverse plus, right? Over here the output is y of n, the intermediate term is w of n, and the input term is x of n. In the direct form 2 structure, the first term representing the denominator. So for this, we will representing as 1 minus 0.5. So this one is minus 0.5. So over here we will multiply with 0.5. And the second term is numerator part. And the numerator part, this term is minus 1. So over here we will multiply it with minus 1. This gets added with this term. So this one is the representation of h1 of z. Now if we are representing h2 of z will representing like this. X of n is given as input, output is y of n. First of all, we will representing it in terms of denominator. So denominator part is 1 plus 0.3. So over here we will representing it as a minus 0.3. And there is no numerator part, so this will representing simply by 1. Now this one is h1 of z and this one is h2 of z. Now in the cascade form, h1 is applied to h2, it will gives you the output. So we have to represent it in terms of output of h1 is given to input of h2. So finally we will represent this signal in cascade form as x of n. This will be representing first over here 0.5, over here the value is minus 1. Output of first stage is given to the input of second stage. Second stage is plus and then z inverse. So plus and then z inverse. And from this we will get output. So this one is h1 of z, this one is h2 of z, and cascade is overall h of z. So in short, cascade form structure will be representing in number of terms will be in terms of multiplication of individual forms. So h1 is multiplied with h2, it will multiply with h3 likewise. The same thing can be representing like this also. Suppose if we will take h1 of z like this. Suppose if I am taking this one is h1 of z, this one is h2 of z, and this one is h3 of z, then also we can represent it in terms of cascade. So it will always multiplication of all the terms. Now the next form is parallel form structure. The same example can be find by using parallel form structure. So to find this parallel form structure, first of all we will start from the equation which is given to us. So equation is like this: h of z equals to 1 minus z inverse upon 1 minus 0.2 z inverse minus 0.15 z raised to minus 2. The rule to find parallel form structure is, first of all we will convert whole term in terms of z, then we will factorize the denominator part, then we will defining it as a upon first factor plus b upon second factor likewise, and then after simplification we will represent it in terms of parallel. So the main aim is, suppose x of n is given to you and we have to find out y of n, we will apply this as h1, it will also apply to h2, it will apply to h3 likewise, and this all are in terms of parallel. So parallel it will gives you output and after summation it will give the final output. So basically we will representing this h of z in terms of h1 of z plus h2 of z plus h3 of z likewise. So we will starting from here, we will converting this term in terms of z. So if we simplify, z square goes here, z square minus 0.2z minus 0.15, and the above factor is z into z minus 1. Now if we will factorize the denominator part will representing as z minus 0.5 and z plus 0.3. The numerator part will remain as it is. Now suppose if we'll find out h of z upon z, then this z goes below here. So this factor will representing z minus 1 upon z minus 0.5 into z plus 0.3. Now this term will representing as a upon first factor plus b upon second factor. So this term representing h1 of z plus h2 of z, which are required in this equation, h1 of z plus h2 of z, right? So a upon first factor is a upon z minus 0.5 plus b upon z minus 0.3. Now in this example we have to find out value of a. Now how will find out value of a? In this factor we will not take z minus 0.5. So z minus 1 upon z plus 0.3 at the value of z equals to 0.5. So if we'll put this value 0.5 minus 1 upon 0.5 plus 0.3, this will gives you the output as minus 0.625. Similarly, if we will find out value of b equals to z minus 1 upon, we will not take in this factor, right? So it will giving you output as z minus 0.5 at z equals to minus 0.3. And if we will put this minus 0.3 minus 1 upon minus 0.3 minus 0.5, it will gives you the output as 1.625. So after finding a and b, these two values will be putting in this equation, a and b. So the next term will be like this, h of z upon z equals to a upon z minus 0.5 plus b upon z plus 0.3, right? So if we'll put the value of a and b, the value of a equals to minus 0.625 and value of b equals to 1.625. So the final answer will be like this. Now we have to find out value of z. So this one is the value of h of z divided by z. Z will multiply over here. So after multiplication of z, we will divide it by z. Z will be cancelled out. So this answer will become minus 0.625, 1 minus 0.5 z inverse. Similarly, this will representing as 1.625 z upon z plus 0.3, right? So this z cancel out and this divided by z. It will gives you the output as minus 0.625 upon 1 minus 0.5 z inverse plus 1.625 upon 1 plus 0.3 z inverse. So this one is, we will taking this one as h1 of z and this one as h2 of z. So simply we will add these two terms and finding the finalized answer. So if we will write down the value of h1 of z equals to minus 0.625 upon 1 minus 0.5 z inverse, right? Similarly, h2 of z equals to 1.625 upon 1 plus 0.3 z inverse. Now if we are representing these two terms, then the final answer will be like this. X of n is given to you. This 2 will be representing as h1 of z. Over here we will representing h2 of z. Output, parallel output is given to the summing point. It will gives you the output as y of n. So h1 of z will representing over here by using direct form 2 structure. Now h1 of z equals to this First of all, we will representing the denominator part, means 1 minus 0.5 z inverse. 1 minus 0.5, it means it will gives you the 1 and 0.5 two constant multipliers. So we will representing like this, plus and z inverse. In this we will applying minus 0.5, because of minus 0.5 we will take 0.5, and this will be multiply with minus 0.625. Now similarly, this input signal x of n is given to the h2 of z. This one is h1 of z, right? Now we will apply the same thing on the h2 of z. So if we will take h2 of z, in the h2 of z we will representing it as a z inverse. This gets adding with plus, and over here the value is minus 0.3 because we have taken the plus 0.3. And what is the value of constant multiplier? 1.625. So over here we will representing it in terms of 0.625. So over here we will multiply it with 1.625. Now these two parts get added with adder, which will gives you the output as y of n. So simply we have representing the whole structure in the parallel form. h1 of z will be added with h2 of z. Now the next point is flow graph representation. Now what is flow graph representation? Flow graph representation means any form of structure can be representing in terms of signal flow graph. Now how will representing this signal flow graph? It is generally representing like, suppose if I am drawing one structure, like suppose if I am taking x of n, this one is plus, over here suppose if we are taking z inverse, over here suppose if we are taking 5, over here plus, minus 3, this one is y of n output. From here if we will take z inverse, suppose over here we will take minus 0.5. Suppose if I have taken this structure, this will be representing in terms of flow graph as input x of n is as it is, output y of n is as it is. This summing points are representing by nodes. So two summing points, so we have representing it as two nodes. This node is representing by node only. From here z inverse will representing like this, z inverse. Over here the value is 5, so it will representing as it is. Over here another summing point, so over here we will take summing point. From this we have to take minus 0.5, and over here we have to take another z inverse. So it will look like this. Now this minus 3 will representing like minus 3, and it will adding with this node. So this structure is considered as flow graph representation. It shows the flow of the block diagram. Now the next point is transposed form. Now what is transposed form? Transposed form means if we will reversing the input and output, then how will representing it? If we will representing input and output, then the direction of the nodes will be changed. Like suppose if we will take this diagram, flow graph diagram, right? I am drawing the same diagram over here. Then if we will take x of n, over here there are 3 nodes. Here we have taken z inverse, over here we have taken 5. From this we have taken another z inverse, over here we have taken minus 0.5, and from here we have taken 3, minus 3, right? So it will gives you the output y of n. Now suppose if we want to convert this in terms of transpose form, x of n will convert into y of n. This one is first rule, that x of n and y of n are interchange. So instead of x of n we will write y of n, instead of y of n we will represent x of n. Now we will draw the three nodes as it is. Over here another node, and this one is last. So the structure will remain same, but the direction gets reversed. So z inverse goes in this direction upward, -3 will be in this direction, 5 will be in this direction, and -0.5 will be in this direction. It means we will reverse the direction of this constant multiplier as well as z inverse term, and we will interchange input and output to show it in terms of transpose form.